Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I am your host, Ray Goots, and with me as always is Kyle Lewis. Keep it 5 stars. Kyle, are you keeping it 5 stars?
I am trying to the best of my abilities. The world of wrestling is changing around me consistently. So it's wild.
Yes. Are you there, Kyle, real quick?
I am there. Sorry.
You sound cool, but you're here. So today's big news, breaking. When I woke up, I got this news and I've been dealing with it all day. Netflix is going to buy the WB, Warner Brothers Discovery. Um, they're not taking the networks, TNT, TBS. So I don't know where they're gonna go, but I've seen people post that AEW be fine, AEW be fine. I'm here to tell you that it doesn't matter if AEW is getting 20 million viewers a week. No one is going to be fine through this merger. We're all fucked. They're fucked. WWE's fucked. DC Comics is fucked. Harry Potter is fucked. Probably by Voldemort in the butt. Godzilla's fucked. Everything's fucked. Batman's fucked. Superman's fucked. Again, I'm not. This is not me shitting on AEW. If AEW was the number one show on television, like it was breaking viewership records, it would still be fucked because of this merger. That's just the way it is. You
No,
know.
you're absolutely right. I mean, mergers are not really good for anyone, I mean, except for the rich. The rich get richer, but there's gonna be less room for shows, less room for content. In terms of AEW, they at least have HBO Max till 2027. They have that HBO Max deal till 2027, and who knows? HBO Max might merge into Netflix by the end of the year if everything gets approved.
I,
Uh,
I think HBO Max is done. I think it's
yeah,
everything on Netflix.
and so,
There-
and if that's the case, that's a whole different story to have Raw and AEW on the same thing, which I can see issues. But just everything in general, it's going to change the landscape of television and media as we know it. And no matter who got the bid, Paramount, Peacock, or Comcast, or all of them, it would have been this. But Netflix seems to not be very theater friendly. So if you're a fan of the theaters and going out to see a
well,
movie day one, yeah, as much as they say they're going to claim that they're not going to do that, they're not going to harm that.
they
I beg to differ.
So I don't think you're going to see the new Superman movie on 4K Blu-ray. So you know, better get used to paying. They want you to give Netflix money for the rest of their lives. There's not going to be WrestleMania 42, 43, 44 on disc. There's not going to be anything. It's just you're going to have to give Netflix $1,000 a month for the rest of your life to watch shitty movies, and that's just the way it's going to be. You know.
No, that's it. It's scary. It's scary that this is how it's going down. Like,
Yeah.
in a perfect world, everyone would be able to keep their jobs and we'd have more creative outlets than ever, even with a
But
merger. But that's not how that works. And we know this in multiple places. We know this with WB and they merged with Discovery, and then they canceled a bunch of projects. And there's still a lot of wait and see. There's a lot of doom and gloom right now. There's still a lot of wait and see. It could still get canceled. Who know? I mean, Trump's buddies with Paramount, so maybe he'll try to help Paramount out. But like I said, it doesn't matter who gets this. It's not
not
good.
good. It's not good. This has been the worst year, and I'm not even talking about quality. This has been the worst year to be a wrestling fan because they have made it harder and harder to watch wrestling. It's supposed to be easier, and it's not. I mean, I don't want to say the conversation me and you had about watching future older shows in 2026, but it's not been a good year for wrestling. I mean, the ESPN deal is completely unuser friendly. Uh, Netflix hiding the archives all around the world. The archives are just gone. Hundreds and thousands of hours of classic wrestling just doesn't exist anymore because of this Netflix deal. It's just we're erasing the past, and nobody seems to care. I said this is the worst entertainment news of my lifetime, which I believe. Which I believe. The because Disney did all their acquisitions in stages, it wasn't this big like huge blow. But when they bought 20th Century Fox didn't really even exist. I mean, that was like a
Hmm.
major film company, and um, I said this is the worst news because this is such an important company. I mean, when I was a kid and I saw the WB on a cartoon, whether it was Batman, whether it's Animaniacs, whether it's Tiny Toons, all the shit, and then the Hanna Barbera icon, I knew I was watching a quality product. I knew I was watching maybe not so much all Hanna Barbera, but it had its own style.
They have their own WWE run where they
Yeah,
had their Attitude Era, and then they had their New Generation, I guess.
and then so many classic movies that Warner Brothers has made. I mean, some that are still like hard to find, but like, you go through if you want to be a real like old school nerd, you go through the 30s and the 40s, and they have made some of the most important films um, of all time. Casablanca, Maltese Falcon. These things are not going to be easy to access anymore. Like they're just
No,
not. Like, they don't want you. They don't want you to watch Maltese Falcon. And I know you have people that listen to this don't want to watch it, but they're just going to erase the past, like they did with WCW, like they did with ECW. They're going to erase the fucking past, and it's not good. It's not. It's This is not good for anybody unless you want to watch the Mind Flayer fight Superman while the White Walkers attack the Squid Games, because that could all happen in a year or two.
I don't want to see that at all. But no, it's gonna be rough. I don't see a lot of positives to this. Like even when I would joke about the Paramount one being like, well, he's like SpongeBob and the Powerpuff Girls could do a crossover. Like like if Paramount got like in the perfect world where no one got fired and everyone was okay with the merger, you would get Nicktoons and Cartoon Network on the same channel, which would be like cool. In the 90s, I don't really know what they have now, but that's not the world we live in. That's never been the world we live in. And right now, it's very early, but it does not look good.
Not good for anybody. Here's the other thing, and I tweeted this. I have a burner to Conrad and John Alba because John
I didn't
Alba.
know you had a burner account for the.
I only go on it like once a month. I don't really do anything on it, but I did tweet this. John Alba was going like, we don't know what this holds. Now, I used to listen to John Alba's podcast with Eric Bischoff, Strictly Business, and I listened to 83 Weeks. And many times, Bischoff and Conrad have claimed in the past that they have reliable sources. And Conrad said this more so than Eric, which is why Eric believes it. Reliable sources have told him that WB has an ownership stake in AEW. And I think I've told you that rumor. For some
Mhm.
reason, the major dirt sheet guys like Sean Ross Sapp and Dave Meltzer never really, they don't go near it. They don't go yes or no. That's just a fact that doesn't exist. But the fact that Conrad has said, like, I've heard from some pretty significant people that Warner Brothers has an ownership stake. I'm going to say my guess is I think there's smoke to that fire because I do kind of feel that when Tony Khan went to Warner Brothers and was like, I want to basically do a WWE. We're gonna. I could see them being like, now, yeah, just go to the network. I could see them being like, okay, but we want to cut the profits. We want us a cut. We'll put you on the network, and you can fucking have Eddie Kingston eat a burger while wrestling Samoa Joe, but we
That was
want
a
to
good
cut
promo.
what?
That was a good promo.
Eddie Kingston's going to be a hey Stranger Things, what's going on? So I do believe that they secretly agreed to that. I don't think that's that much of an ask from Warner Brothers because that was a big risk in 2019, and
Absolutely.
I could see Tony agreeing to that and being like, well, we don't want to let anyone know. Now, if that is true, does Netflix now own that piece of AEW? And if they do, I could see Netflix not giving up on AEW, but putting AEW on Netflix, on stream platform. And furthermore, if Netflix now owns a part of AEW, which again, I tweeted to these guys and they ignored it. They ignored it, which is like, you've been screaming this on your fucking podcast. And Eric Bischoff said this to your face, Sean Alba, that Warner Brothers has a stake. And now you're acting like you guys never said this shit. You guys said this shit over and over again. Um, what I'm saying is I think that Netflix is going to say to AEW and WWE, "You're both on, and we want you to work together." Now, you can say in the old world, which was yesterday, they could be like, "We don't want to do that." I don't think they're going to have a choice anymore. in this new world. And I think we're going to see crossovers with WWE and AEW if Netflix does own a part of AEW now, starting today. What do you think? I think that there's smoke to that fire. Otherwise, I don't think Conrad, because Conrad's the one who was saying it. I don't think he'd say it as much as he did if it was bullshit.
There's definitely a world where that could be a possibility. I think if they do own some type of stake in AEW, they have AEW if everything goes through by quarter 3 2026, like they said it will, they have AEW at least for a little while. So and the way WWE presents themselves, they're sports entertainment. AEW is pro wrestling. So technically, you guys are two separate things based on your definition of what you do in the WWE. So there's definitely a world where you would see Raw on Monday, Dynamite on Wednesday, Collision on Saturday, and then they would have to cross promote because they see the same thing.
Yeah,
I don't think either person would like it, but they're
I don't
not
think you have
calling
a
the
choice.
shots. Look, WWE, from my knowledge, also is they are locked into Netflix for at least 5 years before they can get canceled. And look, we'll see. I think it would be interesting. I think you could do some fun stuff with it. Egos would have to be put aside, but then again, this is the world of wrestling. They you never know what they're gonna do. They might not. I would love to see some type of crossover between them, personally. Even if it's like a Bray Wyatt memorial, if it doesn't have to be like who's the better company, but like something where like everybody can get together for somebody or something that they truly love and just put on some matches.
They should do an Intercontinental Classic where the winner.
I mean, why not? I mean, WWE seems not to not be people don't seem to like WWE's tournaments. They like AEW's tournaments, but
I don't like.
WWE's tournaments people are not fans of.
I don't like either one of them. So yeah, so I want people to be like, hey, do not feel optimistic about this. We're doomed, and don't give me this. It'll be fine. No one's fine. I'm saying everyone. I think the only person who'll be fine is TNA, who's with AMC, who won't have
Yeah,
to
yeah, great
around.
news for them. Unless WWE buys them, which they're also kind of swimming around. The rumor of the day for that was that TNA, of all people, won AJ Styles on that first episode. So
Oh,
I could
that is the move. That is the move.
I could see that NXT TNA deal becoming a SmackDown TNA deal, maybe a Raw TNA deal because now they're on a big network. Who cares about the CW? Not, I mean, not, I don't have any disrespect for the CW, but if you're gonna be on another network, you're gonna probably want your eyes on the Roman Reignses and the CM Punks of the world, less of the Josh Briggs.
You need Josh Briggs. Come on, man. He's a heartthrob. All right. Listen. So listen. Let's go back to when things also didn't make sense. December 19th.
It's one more news thing today. The John Cena. I mean, there's so many John Cena
Oh,
interviews coming out
yeah,
right now.
you know what? Let's talk about John Cena next week. I almost feel like we should do
Okay.
a Cena episode. Um, fuck it. This has been the worst retirement run ever. I don't see how he's happy with this. He's been made to look like a buffoon. The heel run's been an abortion. He can barely move. This has been horrible. Honestly, I'm ashamed of him. And
I mean, he didn't write it.
the only thing that I got out of this entire fucking run is number one, Hogan wouldn't have agreed to any of this, and there's a reason why Hogan. You know, people want to shit on Hogan having creative control. There is no way Hogan's final pay-per-view match he would have let Liv Morgan kick him in the nuts. He would have sooner shot up the McMahon family, and he's right to do that. I don't think it's the worst idea to have whether you're John Cena or Hulk Hogan lose to Dominic Mysterio in the last pay-per-view match. I think there's a better way to do it rather than the way they did it. You know?
Yeah, I didn't hate that as much because the entire Judgment Day had to take down John Cena. Um, I think it was cool that he sold for like a Roxanne and Raquel. Just kind of in a weird way to give, not weird, but in a way to give back to them.
He
Uh,
could have sold for them over the summer. He didn't have to sell for
he could have. They didn't do the match over the summer. They did the match then.
well,
So there's nothing they could do about it then. But I think it's really going to be telling what happens his last match. Does he go home a winner of his last? I feel like he has to. Like if he loses to Dominic Mysterio, then he loses to let's say Gunther or LA Knight. He just leaves a loser, and that doesn't help anybody.
But I mean, none of this is up to anybody. I don't think. I mean, I mean, the whole thing. I really can't believe. I can't believe, and I think The Rock. This has become personal. That, bro, do you understand? This is like Paul and Nash vanish after Bash at the Beach, and it's Starcade '97, and they still haven't been seen. Or like everyone, like The Rock just vanishing. It's like that is the craziest fucking thing in the world. That is insane. Like it would be like almost. I feel like Bischoff would eventually be like 6 months and be like, "Hold Nash, you guys have to come. You guys have to. We have to finish this somehow. Can you at least come out and, like hit Hogan? I don't know. Can you do something?"
No, it's really telling. And John Cena now, in one of the many, many interviews, he at least alluded to it. I remember when he was doing the Fan Fest, he was just like, "We'll talk about it more when it's done." Now he's like, "You need like a good 5 year." I just saw this clip. You need like a good year or two to cement that good heel
And why did you
and a
agree
good
with it?
character. I don't know why he agreed to any of it personally. And then I guess the way it would seem like The Rock was really gonna be on board, and then The Rock, and he alluded to it in the interview. He's like, key players dropped out, and we all know what that means. The Rock was the linchpin, like that
Yeah.
needed to be there, and he was not there. He bowed out for whatever reason he wanted to bow out, and it suffered. It suffered when John Cena did his first promo. It suffered in the match with Cody Rhodes. He kind of just floundered around for the year until like a retcon that would not be accepted most days was accepted because we were like, oh God, this is so not working. Just say it. He's like, oh, I'm lying, guys. And we're like, all right, cool, fine. Like
You
that's
know,
how frustrating the heel turn was. That his retcon of just being like, okay, we're dropping this now was like widely accepted.
I didn't like the Austin heel turn, and I think that that's also a horrible storyline. But at least when Triple H got injured, they had Austin walk out and be like, he was weak and he was holding me back, and I didn't even need him. And that was that. Now they never revisited that feud, but I think everyone thought that Austin was still have a healthy neck in the summer of 2002 when
Mm.
Triple H came back. But at least they did something like that. All Cena had to say was, and I think he did it because they were hoping Rock would change his mind. You know, I don't really need The Rock. I don't need anybody. I don't need you. I don't need The Rock. I don't need anyone. Fuck him. Let him go. Let him go make the Smashing Machine and Jumanji #7. I don't need this bitch. That was something like, bro, like it just
No, there's no way that The Rock would even consent. Even if he didn't consent, he would be so mad with his
I'll tell
mature
you this.
with a majority share. He would he
I'll,
would
I'll
he would take it back on somebody.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this, man. If they don't have The Rock come out and do something at Saturday Night's Main Event, I just feel like how do you expect me to ever take anything you do seriously when you left this major plot line like just dangling? Like if the Cena retires and there's no Rock or there's no twist to this whole fucking thing, I my what I would want is that Cena doesn't retire at Saturday's Main Event. There's a twist with The Rock and he goes to WrestleMania. I don't think anyone would care if they did that as well. I don't think people would care. I
And the
want
people who spent hundreds of dollars to see
well,
that
that's on
match
you.
would
That's on you.
care. Thousands
I
even.
don't care. I want every wrestler to pull a Terry Funk. I like the fact that Hulk Hogan didn't have a final match. He just always kind of like, oh, maybe I'll come back one day, and he died. Like, but see, that's more honest. Like Hulk, like these wrestlers shouldn't retire. They should just drag it out and then die, like Jerry Lawler and Terry Funk. That's the best way to be.
I don't think John Cena wants to do that. I think
Well,
it's a very interesting interview because he's like, I would have done all these dates. And I'm like, no, you wouldn't have. You're not going to turn down a year of work in the movies and getting millions of dollars to do Raw every week. You are not going to do that. But
well,
I appreciate you for saying that.
I
Yeah,
also think that a lot of this feud is to make him look stupid because I don't think Triple H thinks or thought he should have been the guy. That's my other thing.
so it's been a weird 2025. I mean, I don't know how you would do this to John Cena, like make him look stupid. And this is gonna be talked about the way Montreal, the way in the invasion, the way all these other fumbles of the WWE have been talked about for years. This is gonna be talked about for decades of how this could have been so much better, and it just wasn't.
I know. And weird. It's a weird because I don't enjoy either company right now. I think WWE is too overproduced. It's too much about moments. You know what's crazy to me, bro? It's like I did a private stand up gig, so I missed the Survivor Series, and I was like so busy with the gig and driving in the hills of fucking Northern California that I didn't even like look at my phone or look at the results. I finally got to the hotel room. It's 9 o'clock at night, California time. I sit down and I pull out the Wrestling Observer website because that is the easiest way to see the results. And I'm reading the results real quick, and I'm like, this is fucking horrible. This just seems like an overproduced mess. I can't see it. There's no way. Like I would have still bought the Blu-ray. They put out the Blu-ray at the end of the month. I would have bought it. I can't do that. So you don't get any of my money, and I'm never gonna see this. But everything I needed to see was on TikTok on other people's fucking profiles. It's just such a broken way. Someone said I said this on Reddit. Someone said because WWE just books around moments, all you need to do is watch moments on TikTok. You don't need to watch the show, and that's 100% true.
Yeah, no, I think they're really too they're into the moments a little way too much. They're also in a sense of arrogance that like is biting them in the butt, in my opinion. Like I
Yeah,
saw an interview with Nick Khan, and he was talking about Rey Mysterio, or I saw the clip, and he mentions that Rey Mysterio was a nobody in WCW, and then the WWE machine got behind him, which is not true. Rey Mysterio was not the main eventer, but he was still one of WCW's more popular stars, and probably the only breakout star in the cruiserweight division, real breakout star. If WCW lasted a year or two more years, you could see Rey Mysterio versus Scott Steiner for the WCW
I
championship. This is
kind of think you
possible,
need. I kind of think
but
you need to do leadership. I'm not saying. I'm saying someone else like Bishop had to buy the company for that to happen. But yeah,
yeah,
you're
I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. If somebody bought WCW and it was not the WWE, but it was, it's just this sense of like WWE is the only thing in the world and everything we're doing is great, and not everything is great. Not everything is terrible. Not everything is bad. I know you can look on the internet and people would make that seem the case. But there's a lot of arrogance. Like this was not a good year overall. There was a lot of the moments did not live up to the hype, and there's been more lows than highs. And this is not just internet speak. It's just or IWT stuff. Like it's just things are not clicking the way you guys think they're clicking. And I hope something different for 2026.
I mean, so I can watch Netflix on my niece's account. I don't pay for Netflix, but I have to let the. But we only have Netflix in the living room. I don't have a way to watch SmackDown. I don't have a way to watch the pay-per-views. I don't have a way to watch NXT, and I don't even care that I'm not paying for any of the services that WWE's on, which includes cable. And I don't care. And I was. That's the thing. I was giving them money at the beginning of the year. When the Peacock deal expires, that's it. And it's like, and to watch the wrestling I want to watch, I gotta find other ways. And it's just like, man, your arrogance, dude. Think about this, man. The next WWE pay per view on ESPN, the next big ESPN show is February 1st. It's the 12th of December. So you mean to tell me you want a wrestling fan to pay $60 for nothing? For no new content in December and January. That's your fucking plan. You couldn't have just and again, it would have maybe it's too many shows, but ESPN, like you can't bring back December to December and day one, so we have some fucking content on this app for 2 months. We like it's great. Listen, if it was a la carte and you just say that's fine, yeah, just do 4 pay-per-views a year. But you're telling people they gotta subscribe to ESPN Plus, and you're doing no new content till February 1st. That's insane to me.
No, it is ridiculous. I didn't even think about that. I think another problem is they have too many people that they're trying to feed to. There's Raw.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I assume this Raw is gonna be day one, even though it's not the day one, even though it's not January 5th. I remember they made like a SmackDown day one, so they might make it like Raw day one or something like that. Like they make these events. They have to. Triple H said it. Like once the show's over, I gotta worry about Raw. I gotta worry about SmackDown. I gotta worry about NXT. Like, so you have all these irons in the fire, and things just get like diminished. Saturday night's main event, the card comes out like a week before the show. Like, why are you hyped for something that you don't know what's gonna happen? Like,
And what do I give a shit? I know Cena's intentions are noble, but they should have been building story. Like CM Punk right now should have a storyline with Javon Evans. What do I give a shit for a cold match? This is like an AEW. What am I gonna watch? Fucking Obi Femi versus fucking I don't know Roman Reigns. Yeah, that's cool, but like you can't have these two cut a promo this week. Like
Yeah,
last
no,
week.
it's the same thing like when you have like a really good collision or a really good or like if there's at least this year's Continental Classic, there's a little more story to it. But if it's just like matches for the sake of matches, I'm like, all right, I'm not really that invested because where does this lead? Where does this go? And this is straight out of like a really weird episode of Collision to
Dude,
me.
the other thing is we've heard that Gunther was gonna be the final opponent since January. That was been a rumor that he was gonna be seen as final opponent, right? And it's
Hmm.
gonna be Gunther. LA Knight's not winning tonight. It's gonna be Gunther. You only have a week to build the match. These guys have never interacted. These guys have never even looked at each other. If you knew, you can do what. Listen, this is you can do whatever you want. It's fake. It's not real. If you knew in January, it's probably going to be Gunther. Why didn't you start like weaving him in and out of the Cena saga?
Yeah,
Like,
maybe like staring them down or something like
yeah,
that, you know?
make people want that match. Like fucking look again. I hate to defend Vince. I'm gonna defend Vince. He was building WrestleMania 25 starting in 2007 when Shawn Michaels and Undertaker are the last two in the ring.
Yeah,
He's
I remember that.
so, but you got to it. You really wanted it. You can do whatever you want. Fucking Gunther can come out the night after. He doesn't have to wrestle. He can come out the night after WrestleMania after losing Jey Uso and just say something to Cena. Like you can do what? Like you clearly knew this was going to be the guy. You did nothing. You did nothing for months. You sat on this for months, and it's gonna. It's like we all knew it was going to be this fucking. They could have had Cena maybe cost Gunther. Maybe Gunther and Cena are united under the Rock, right? And then
Yeah.
maybe Cena costs Gunther the match with Goldberg. Goldberg wins. And then Gunther turns on Cena. And then Gunther's like, you got to get through Goldberg and AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio to get to me. Like, there's so many things you could have done. And you didn't do any of it. You could have Cena berate Gunther after he tapped out to Jey Uso. Like, you knew where you were going. You didn't do anything with it. You were like, come on, man. This is just fucking garbage.
I mean, it would have been interesting to have both world champions or a world champion and potential world champion in The Rock's camp. So you had Gunther, you had John Cena, and then the two were kind of competing with each other.
Yeah.
And it could have worked. Like hindsight is 2020, right? But whatever they tried to do, it just did not work. John Cena and Gunther in a cold match where Gunther's gonna have to carry the promo work tomorrow, tonight maybe, and
Tonight
Monday.
and Friday. Literally,
Yeah,
Gunther on the mic for 2 hours.
yeah, it's
To
gonna
get
be
people
it's gonna be rough.
has he cut a promo since he came back at the isn't that
No, he's just been beating people.
all right.
It's
Listen, let's talk
rough.
about another piece of shit show. This fucking thing. This is a real I've always felt that this show is in the middle of a transition. It's in the middle, like it's like snack. They don't know where they're going, but they know they're going somewhere. And it's very telling that the best match and the most over match on the card is with the two biggest stars in the world. If they did not have these two guys, what would they have done? Because this is a very rough show to get through. I don't know how you felt.
No, I felt the same. I mean, I had to watch it in parts. I remember I watched it a few days before, and then like I heard Goldust, his artist formerly known as Goldust Music, and I was like, I'm out. I'm out for the day. And then I had to come back to it. No, it isn't in a transition period. It's almost like a big filler until we start to get to the Rumble and like the Attitude Era really, really kicks off. Like they don't really know what they're doing yet. It's just kind of a show, and they're just kind of throwing stuff at the wall.
Dude, I hate to jump ahead, but that Gold Dust segment was an abomination. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen.
It's pretty,
Um,
it's pretty terrible.
dude, Vince McMahon doesn't like Dusty Rhodes. I don't care. People have said that Gold Dust is not a rib on Dusty. I don't give a fuck what you say. And you watch that segment. No, he doesn't fucking like your dad, and he's using you to make him. I don't give a fuck what. I don't care if Cody Rhodes tells me, well, actually, my Vince blew my dad on his deathbed. I don't give a fuck, Cody.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
talking
I
about
think
in the
it did.
'90s. You're fucking you. Vince was trying to drive your father to suicide. with shit like this. Like this was personal. He was fucking with you and your family. It's a credit to you that you and one of the best WrestleManias of all time is the champ, and you have Triple H and Bruce Pritchard fucking blowing you in the middle of the ring, and The Rock putting you over, and Undertaker putting you over, and everything. That's a credit to you and what you did with AEW. And one day, when you look at the journey from this fucking Goldust promo to WrestleMania 40, what Cody Rhodes did, because I think Vince had in his head to fuck with Cody until Cody said, "You're not gonna fuck with me. I'm gonna create another wrestling company. Suck my dick." And
Yeah,
that is like I have respect for you.
yeah. I
Oh,
mean, the Stardust was if Cody didn't leave. I know the narrative is big already about this. If Cody didn't leave, we were not getting anything. He would have been released in maybe a few years.
he
2017,
can Nick Nemeth.
2018.
He can
Yeah,
Nick Nemeth.
yeah. And he left, made a name for himself, made a comeback, had to force their hand to be like, we want this guy in our company. And then I mean, I don't like giving Vince credit anyway either, but they were right about waiting the year after he came back and then from losing to Roman Reigns and then giving him his redemption year because WrestleMania 40 is, you know, you can say that is almost a season series finale of the WWE as we knew it because from that on, this is a whole different company that no one seems to understand anymore. But
Dude,
that
how
Goldust
crazy
was
how
terrible.
crazy is it now? Dusty is like more of a revere. Like he's like almost like the Obi-Wan in the sky for WWE.
Oh yeah.
Vince and Hulk Hogan aren't even mentioned. But yet now I'm sure like if you say fuck Dusty Rhodes, if you're like backstage, if you're like a new wrestler, like if you're like, I don't know, if you're like Brian Pillman's son and you walk into the fucking Raw dress room, you're like, yeah, Dusty Rhodes can suck my dick. They're gonna fucking destroy you. But I'm saying, and this Goldust thing was to fuck with the Rhodes family. It was to ruin the Rhodes family. Sorry, nah, you're not gonna convince me otherwise. You watch because you didn't watch a lot of nine or you. I watched so much early '90s Dustin Rhodes to see him like this now.
Oh no, I watched The Natural.
Okay, guy,
Yeah, I was there.
he
Yeah,
was he could have been Austin too. He could have been another Austin.
yeah.
What he did to him, they ruined his life. Sorry, they ruined this fucking guy's life.
Hey, even Goldust was over, and then
This thing is like, what are you
yeah,
doing?
this part of Goldust, no, but the
All right,
Goldust when he first came, and yeah, I mean we can get through the whole show.
I was just so because you know what it was back then. I didn't watch as much WCW as I did during this journey. And he's fucking
Hmm.
good. He's so fucking 1992, 93 Dustin Rose is just pure fucking money, man.
Yeah.
He's the next top guy in WCW. And now he's doing this shit. And it's like, this is bullshit, man. I'm fucking all right, let's start. This pay-per-view is called Degeneration X in Your House. And when I got into wrestling early 98 and I heard about this, I immediately was like, I got more into WCW than WWF in early '98 because I thought it was pathetic that I felt like they were copying Sold Out by
Hmm.
having the heel group have their own pay per view, you know,
No,
and
I get you.
they really actually don't do anything with DX having a pay per view. Like I would have had like I don't know, Shawn Michaels has like Harvey Whippleman and like Jim Cornette do the commentary, not Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler. They don't really celebrate. There's just like a cool little DX sign, and otherwise it's a regular show. So I don't know why they called it Degeneration X in Your House. I guess they just were out of they just decided to do it, but it doesn't really do anything with the theme. What did you feel?
I mean, I think it's most known for like starting the DX theme as in theme song because it's the
Yeah.
theme song to the show, and then they start coming out to the actual
Well,
instrumental. I think is the theme song to the show, and then they start coming out to the the break it down. I want to say at this pay per view is when they start doing it. I don't
no,
know if I'm right.
Sean came out to break down at Bad Blood.
No, he did.
Yeah, I think so.
No, no, because they weren't called Degeneration X until like October or something, like October 11th or so.
He came out to break it down. I think he came out to break it down for
No,
maybe
because Bret Hart called them degenerates like after that feud, after his Undertaker feud, and that's when he was like, "You're a Degeneration X." He didn't even know how to say it because they were calling themselves Degeneration X, and then it eventually evolved into what it is now. But that yeah, I don't think it was supposed to be sold out. I think it was supposed to just be what it was. Just an in your house with a cool name. Is this the last in your house? At least on Peacock, it's the last
Uh,
season three. I
Technically, the In Your House is continued until St. Valentine's Day Massacre, but like the only time, so like when they start the show, like they'll be like when it's Unforgiven '98, like well, I have
hmm
that on DVD. They go Unforgiven in your house, but JR just goes like Welcome to Unforgiven, like he just
yeah.
goes, in your house. So the technically everything was in all these other shows are in your houses until St. Valentine's Day Massacre. That's the official final in your house, but I consider this the final in your house because
Okay.
they didn't say St. Valentine's Day Massacre in your house. They just were,
No.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
I don't think it's supposed to be like a sold out. They didn't even have enough members to make their own like sold out. It would have just
well,
been Shawn Michaels, Triple H, China,
they
and
also
then
didn't. The other thing.
also sold out was not that good. So I wouldn't want to emulate that
But
either.
it just felt very corny to like do this. It's not even a year later.
Yeah.
It just felt very corny. So we're kicking it off with the finals of the light heavyweight championship. Brian Christopher and Taka Michinoku. Uh, okay, so I saw the tournament brackets, and man, there were like some people I never heard of in this fucking tournament. I mean, less than nobodies. I think got there was like one name I never even like who was this guy? But like some of the notable names though were Scott Taylor, I guess,
hmm
and that's about it. Uh,
Aguila was in there, wasn't he? S.A. Rios.
like, yeah, but like there was some weird like white guy name. Like who the fuck was that? But
Blitzkrieg.
it was Krieg as a white guy. But the match starts. Taka is wrestling more of a Japan style. Obviously, he's Japanese. Brian Christopher's wrestling very Memphis, but I will say these two, they had an odd chemistry. These two, I don't know how to say it, but like I think the mishmash of styles worked. They're not trying to outdo the WCW cruiserweights. I don't think they can, especially with WWF's attitude towards all this shit. Taka Michinoku lands the Michinoku driver, and he wins. And after the match, Pat Patterson, Tony Guerrero, Jerry Briscoe, the three cruiserweight icons, come out. They hand Taka the belt. Taka takes pictures. I did like this celebration. I thought this was better for me. Less is more. I enjoyed this more than the fire. Nowadays, they would have fucking fireworks go off and ESPN call it a moment and all this bullshit. I like the fact that it's just like Pat Patterson and Jerry Briscoe being like, "Here's a belt." Jerry Briscoe kind of says thing to him. Like, it's probably like this old school, like this is your big opportunity, boy. And like, but they're giving
Yeah.
like the old school wrestler pep talk, and they have the photographers taking photos. And I enjoyed this ceremony. It was less is more. Sometimes it got over things being a big deal without like stopping the show or whatever. So I thought this match wasn't that bad. I actually enjoyed this match. What do you think?
No, I thought it was good too. I like the vibe still between Brian Christopher, Jerry Lawler, Taka Michinoku, always a good wrestler. Brian Christopher got busted open, I want to say. He got busted open a little bit on his mouth. And it was just a good match. And I do like the celebration as well. I miss photographers by the ring. It's something that's not there anymore. But I thought it was cool. I thought the light heavyweight title already happened. That Taka was already champion. But it was just cool to see. It was cool to see a good way to start the show, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I was
really good.
I was looking at the thing. Yeah, I don't know who Eric Shelley is, but Devin Storm is Crowbar.
Eric Shelley is the one. I was like, who the fuck?
Yeah, Devin Storm with Crowbar, super loco, is super crazy.
Oh
So
wow,
there,
super crazy.
yeah, and Flash Flanagan is a name. Flanagan is a name that I know, but I
He was like
don't know
USWA
the
guy.
rest. Yeah. So I mean, I would try and I don't know if they had Aguila versus Super Crazy on the Raw, which we can't watch anywhere. I would, I would go back and watch that for a few minutes
Yeah, but it doesn't
if I,
exist.
if
It
I,
doesn't
if,
exist.
if you could find it somewhere. But
Yeah.
whatever, we'll see. Ah, that's interesting that Super Crazy didn't really take off that early. Because we went to ECW 2 years later.
Maybe Vince was like, I don't have a place for him, but Paul, do you want him? And Paul was like,
Also,
yes.
yes, that's a good impression. Super Loco is also a much worse name than Super Crazy. Just call him Super Crazy.
Well,
But
yeah, I think the best thing for Super Crazy's career was going to ECW. I mean,
oh no, that was probably the height of his career in America.
The only
Was
thing you
he?
remember of Papi Chulo or S.A. Rios or is that Lita debuted with him, and then we never heard from
Yeah.
him.
He also had banger theme music. But outside of that, hey, he was also in SmackDown too. Know your role. And he was always a big part of my season mode for whatever reason. You know, the season mode would just do whatever the fucking wanted.
You didn't know your role, S.A. Rios?
Yeah, he's in And No Mercy. They were
Oh,
generous.
yeah, he was in No Mercy. I know that. Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah. Oh
Stuff.
yeah, the season mode would do whatever you wanted. So you're like, SA Rios is in like your world title picture. You're like, what the fuck? It was always unpredictable. But no, I thought I thought this was cool overall.
Oh yeah, Know
And
Your Role. I was thinking of Here Comes the Pain. Yes, he was in Know Your Role. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
you did mention ESPN, so I had to go back to something new. Something that they do need to do as well is at least hire people at ESPN that give a shit. Like, 'cause they do these things and they do these reads and they do that, and like it's clear that the ESPN workers care about sports more than they care about pro wrestling, WWE, sports entertainment, and it just doesn't vibe. Like, hire a Kazim, a Kaz from The Ringer, or somebody who actually like put the product over better. Quick personal story: when I used to work at Busted Open, we had SiriusXM Rush, which was MMA and boxing and wrestling, and like the three of that to me, I thought never worked because no one liked the other thing. So
Hmm.
nobody ever wanted to put the other thing over. So
Yeah.
like you got to get people who care about this stuff to make it seem important. And there's plenty of names out there. Let Tyrese Halliburton talk to people. People respect him and he loves the WWE. Like shouldn't be that hard, but that's
And
been the
somehow
theme of
it is.
today. That's the theme of today.
Shouldn't be that hard, but it is. We had everything for years. We had everything. I'll give you the $10. I'll give you this. I'll give you that. And no, we can't. We can't have nice things.
Now we can't watch Aguila and Super Crazy.
I know. And you know what? We don't deserve to. They're too good for us. You know. I think.
Yeah.
All right. Up next. Now the show is about to take a dive. All right. I mean, come on. Up next, because people were dying for this. I remember people at the time were like, "I hope this match happens," and it does. I know you've been waiting for this, Kyle. It's your best friends. Up next, it is Chains, Eight Ball, and Skull, the Disciples of the Apocalypse.
Mm.
And you know what? Savio Vega's going to sit this one out because why have the one guy we care about in the match? Just have the six guys no one cares about. It stinks. I mean, yeah, the work's okay. I don't give a shit about this. Is just it just feels like we need to waste time, so we drag these six guys out, and there's nothing that makes any of them stand out. I don't like Skull and Eight Ball because they're fucking neo Nazis. Fuck this match. I think it's a waste of time and it stinks. What about you? Somebody
It
they
sucks.
can't give your back. That's fun.
I think I ought to be grown when I heard like the Los Barriquas music, and not because it's Los Barriquas. I was like, you got to be kidding me! They're fighting again. Like I have seen so much DOA Los Barriquas in the past few months. I never want to see it again. I don't want to see it at a reunion show. I don't want to see it at some random ass WrestleCade. Just no, please. This group of people stay away from each other. I think
Yeah,
they wrote off Crush because I think he was leaving already because he shows up
yeah,
on Nitro. Yeah, he shows up on Nitro shortly after. I don't know if he left because of Brett or just because of life or whatever, but they write off Crush. There's a weird spot where like one of them, I want to say Miguel Perez is the one that's hurt, and it
yeah.
looked brutal. It looked brutal, but I was like, the referee's not checking on him like at all. So he either has to be fine, or Tim White, rest in peace, is doing some terrible officiating. And thankfully he was fine. It was all just part of the dumb swerve. But yeah, I would love to not have to watch these six wrestle ever again.
I hope. I think that's the end of it, but we'll see. We'll see. Up next, somehow this gets even worse. This gets worse. It is a tough man fight. Mark Merrill versus Butterbean. I remember when I first saw this show, I thought this was an abomination, and I still feel the way. Fake boxing on a pro wrestling show. I'll tell you, this would not fly today. No one would.
Nope.
But fake boxing in a wrestling show doesn't work. It doesn't work. Butterbean is not going to be made to look stupid because he has to be a real fighter and go out there and make real money. And they're also like they want to drag it out. Like this was horrible. This was horrible. This was atrocious. I I tuned out. It just felt like it was going down for like 12 years. Horrible. People said like this is as bad as Roddy. No, Roddy Piper versus Mr. T is 20 times better than this piece of shit. One of the worst things I've ever seen. What do you think?
At least Roddy Piper and Mr. T are two entertaining household names that people will, well, even if they're giving you garbage, people are gonna watch them and just gonna be intrigued just because of their star power alone and the build up to it. I did no favors for Mark Merrow, who hadn't had a
No,
favor done for him since 1996. And Butterbean, I mean, obviously he comes back a couple more times. It just didn't work. I didn't really enjoy it either. It
no,
was
it was bad. It was
yeah.
really, really bad. Okay, speaking of really bad, now we get the Gold Dust.
Yeah.
Gold wears a pink wig with Luna Vachon, and he reads green eggs and ham as a stupid fucking voice. Uh, horrible. Um, Luna, I guess, is a dom. This is Vince Russo's fantasy. Luna is a dom, and she pushes Goldust to the floor and screams at him, and he's like, "Mommy, this is." I said it before. I said it again. This is only here to ruin Dusty Rhodes' life and to punish him for actually competing with Vince in the '80s. And I hate this. I hate every second of this. One of the worst things I've ever seen. An embarrassment. Goldust should not be in the Hall of Fame just based on this. Your thoughts?
It is really there's a lot of terrible things that the WWE has done on their programming, and this is so forgotten. This should be up there in the top 20 because
Hold
this
on.
is like
Hold on. I'm getting an incoming call. I don't think this is true. From Zoran Mandami is calling me right now.
okay.
It's probably a spam call, but it would be funny if it was actually the mayor being like, "Goose, I
Hey, he's a big fan of AEW, so maybe he has some maybe he'll save AEW. Maybe AEW will be an
actually
exclusively New York show like the Manhattan Center and in 2027.
he's like, listen, Goots, we got to work together, stop this merger, get back to New
And
York."
broadcast on New York One, who knows? Um
Continue. Sorry.
Yeah, it is probably one of the worst moments that they have written like ever, and it's completely forgotten about because it's that bad. It's so bad that like you just kind of want to erase it from your memory. I remember that Goldust look because that was also in a video game, and I hated it then. I hate it now. Definitely a check minus on his legendary career. Luna too. Luna doesn't deserve this. That shit sucked, and we should never have things like that again because that was just terrible.
It's just something he's not good at. It's just a little bit too much outside of his comfort zone. He kind of like he could kind of do the gold dust stuff, but this is just like way out of what he's good at, and
He's
it's
just being weird for the sake of being weird. Like there's
yeah,
no storyline to it. It's just him like making you uncomfortable, which maybe that's what they were trying to go for in the 90s, but I was just like this is dumb. It's like when there's like a class clown, but that's not a funny class clown. So they're like reading the homework in a goofy voice, and you're just like, dude, it's not working. The bit's not working. But they keep reading it that way. It sucked.
it's
I
just
was not a
crazy
fan.
because if they kind of like took Dustin and Goldust more seriously after the breakup with Marlena, he could have been a ready-made opponent for Austin after he won the belt. Because they brought the house down. But I remember, I think, do you remember he switches back to Dustin in '98?
Yeah.
They tried to say to Austin, you could have a feud with Dustin, and he was like, the damage is done. No, I'm not.
Yeah. No, I mean the same thing happened to Mark Merrow. Once Sable powerbombed Mark Merrow, he was not gonna Austin wasn't gonna feud with him
Yeah,
because he got beaten clean by a
yeah.
woman. Is that fair? No, but it's wrestling. You can make anything work. But there's certain things happen, and Stone Cold's very protective of his character, which we've been talking about today. Um, Maybe for the better, for the best, to be more of a little protective of your character because Stone Cold didn't have to do a lot of the ridiculous stuff that we're kind of talking about now until he
Yeah.
wanted to in 2001.
Okay, up next. This did wonders for New Age Outlaws, but these were not good matches. LOD versus the New Age Outlaws. The Godwins interfere. There's a bucket spot. Um, I didn't really like this match either. Everyone seems like out of sorts, except for Austin and Rock, and no one seems to like really be comfortable in the new roles. And they will eventually get cut, especially New Age Outlaws. But this was a little. I think it was too soon for people to buy these guys beating up the LOD. Um, it's fine. It's whatever. The Godwins interfere. The New Age Outlaws win by disqualification, but a little weird. I don't know. I didn't really like it. What do you think?
I was surprised that the Godwins were still feuding with the Legion of Doom at this time. I was like, what, still? Like when I saw the Godwins come back out. But now, yeah, it's the start of the Outlaws. I like the Outlaws from Jump because I liked the Roadie. I liked the Rockabilly. I liked the Billy Gunn. For whatever reason, I liked these guys already. So they could do no wrong in my eyes. It's not the South Park gear Outlaws,
Yeah,
which would have been cool. But yeah, it was just not a great match. It was just a match, and then things get better for the Outlaws really quickly. I don't know if the thing happens yet where DX and the Outlaws like beat up somebody in
I
the
think,
ring.
it's gonna happen after this show.
Yeah. And that really gives them the big credibility because I remember reading that like, oh man, these four together are gonna be great. And then Shawn Michaels gets hurt. Um, yeah, just not a great showing for anybody, but it doesn't last long in fans' memories, except for Legion of Doom. It really starts the downswing of the Legion of Doom.
It's over for them. It's
Yeah.
over. It's over. I mean, the way they just take away everything that they built up, and I think with Hogan with the creative control is he would see stuff like this, and he would be like, when I get beat up like that, it's gonna mean something, you know. And I think he kind of let Vince do whatever he wanted in 2002. And then when Brock left for football, he was like, I gave all my credibility to Brock, and the guy went off to play football. I'm not losing the show at Michael's at SummerSlam 2005. Sorry, you know?
Yeah, but Shawn Michaels wasn't gonna run off anywhere. I think I remember, I mean, I've heard the story about like Hogan thought he was gonna come back at Survivor Series. Another reason he did it was he was gonna thought he was gonna come back at Survivor Series and beat
He,
Brock in the Garden, and they were just like, no, that's
well,
not gonna happen.
I would, I would have done it.
I mean, it would have been a big pop if he did. I'm sure people would have cheered.
I would have cheered. I would have.
Hogan winning the title one more time in the Garden, even someone who does not like him at all. Hogan winning
You
the
know what?
title in the Garden one more time.
You know what? I guarantee you, if Hulk Hogan beats Brock Lesnar at the Garden, Janelle Grant's safe, and he never says the N word. So there you go.
Yeah, sure. That's exactly what would happen in an alternate universe.
We need to go back in time. All right. Speaking of going back in time, okay. So I don't know if you remember. So the next match is Triple H versus Sergeant Slaughter. I don't know if you remember, but this was promoted more so than Rock Austin because Rock Austin's a very short match. This was promoted as almost like the co-main event. This was like supposed to be a big deal match. And this was a big test for Triple H. And I'm going to tell you right now, he fucking failed miserably. This, he was not ready to be even a mid upper top guy. This match stunk. But the one other thing too is this is all of Triple H's worst habits before he could fuck around with those worst habits. It's long, it's boring. He gives nothing. Sergeant's like this match should have been Sergeant Slaughter beating the shit out of Triple H, and people being like, "Oh my God, Sergeant Slaughter still has it! Oh my God!" And then Triple H like fucking hits him with a sledgehammer, so to speak, and pins him, and that's it. Instead, it's just a long plotting match where Triple H makes Slaughter look like a fucking idiot, and then pins him. This is a horrible match. A horrible. Oh, by the way, this is his first pay per view match. He's called Triple H. Not Hunter Helmsley.
No, you know, really.
This is also like I think the longest match on the show. It's horrible. It's just like why did they think that these guys should go this long? And at the end, I think Vince knew Triple H isn't ready for anything, and he wasn't. This is an embarrassment. This match stunk.
And Sergeant Slaughter also coming out the Patriots Kurt
Oh
Angle
yeah,
music.
yeah.
It was just like, man, they wasted no time. They really liked this song and they were giving it to anybody. It's
Mm-hmm.
like we're gonna keep using this damn song. Also, Butterbean came out to the Bam Bam Bigelow Fat Guy music. It
Oh
can
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
doom 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 doom
Yeah.
doom, which is like fat guy walking music. What? Shout out to Jim Johnson. Anyway, it was yeah, it was not a great match. It's just I mean Triple H was not like you said he was not there yet. Gets there eventually. I think the feud with Owen Hart helps, and then when he has to stand on his own, that helps as well. But this, I mean, what were you gonna do with Sergeant Slaughter? It really showed that they really had nobody, um, on the roster. He couldn't fight Mankind again because that was done to death. Vader, no. Patriot, no. This was just it. This is his
Yeah.
opponent. You kicked out the Bulldog and the Anvil and all that.
Dude,
Just this, they needed January bad. Let's put it that
yeah,
way.
they need to get to the Rumble. Dude, it is crazy. It is crazy because Triple H is like, he's making all these stuffed faces. His mic work sucks. It is crazy how fast The Rock has got it over Triple H because Triple H now has been there for 2.5 years. He has no idea what he's doing. And The Rock, bro, it is like you compare Rock December of '96 to now. Wow, what a let's get into that. I'm jumping ahead, but no wonder he fucking hates The Rock. No wonder he hates this guy because it's like this guy's running circles around him, and he's supposed to be the chosen one.
Sometimes you love something so much, even if you're not the best at it. It's like you
Yeah,
come in, a student of comedy, and then some guy who is not a student of comedy, but really good, and just has the punchlines and everything just down packed, gains the audience much quicker. It just it'll make anybody angry. I'm sure there's plenty of Rocks and Triple H's out there in the comedy world.
okay. Now let's get into something else. It's Jeff Jarrett versus Undertaker. All right.
Um,
So before we break down this match, Kane interferes. We know that. If I got in a time machine and told somebody there's going to be a new company in 2025 and they're going to do a big retirement angle with one of these guys in the ring, and they're going to tease that the guy's going to get a world title shot. 90% of people, oh, it's going to be Undertaker. He had a falling out with Vince and he's there. No, it's going to be Kane. No, it's going to be Jeff Jarrett. Yeah. This fucking loser is still wrestling in 2025, and a company who's trying to get the ratings up thought making him a main character in the main storyline is a good. What are you talking about? If you ever have doubted me when I say Jeff Jarrett doesn't belong in the main events and he's a fucking loser, watch this match because man, him next to Kane and Undertaker, he can't fucking hang. He looks like a buffoon. He looks like an
I
open.
mean, the way he's dressed doesn't help either.
It doesn't help, but also just his movements. So Jeff Jarrett is back from WCW, and he's the big superstar now. He's a big deal. His song is his song is just him saying like, "There's WWE superstars, and then there's me."
Oh, it's the biggest, most passive aggressive. Like it sounds so like you could take it either way. That he's like, I'm the greatest. There's these guys, and then there's great, or these guys are so great, and then there's Jeff Jarrett. Like I was like, how could you sign off on this? Because like when I heard it now, I'm just like, it sounds like everybody else is awesome, and then there's just you.
Yeah,
It's like
and
Eve
then
Torres says she looks good to me. Like, yeah, other people think she's ugly, but I find her hot.
he does the fucking Fargo strut. And it's just like, bro, what is this guy doing here? He just doesn't have it. So Undertaker comes out. They start the match. Match stinks. And then Kane comes out. And the crowd roars to life. And then Kane gets in the ring and he choke slams Jeff Jarrett. And then he hits Undertaker. This is the first time since Bad Blood these two are face to face. And Kane finally puts his hands on Undertaker. Undertaker won't retaliate. I have to say, that I know they just did it with Rey Mysterio and Dominic, but when you do an angle where the face will not touch the heel, it is such a great way to build because the crowd wants Undertaker to explode on Kane and he won't. He won't do it. And when Kane gets in the ring, the crowd comes to life. First time ever. He's already over. The body language of these two, you want to say what you want about their politics, and they're probably both going to lead to the a downfall of the United States in 2025. But man, these two guys just had it in terms of body language. They're telling a story just with their eyes, with their body movements. No mic work is needed, and it's really awesome. And this is the problem, Kyle. As
Uh,
soon as the match is over, everyone else. So Kane has been chokeslamming people, and they're like basically dead. They have to go to the hospital and learn how to walk again. Or Jeff Jarrett just jumps up. He's not selling the fucking chokeslam, and then he can't even get up for Undertaker's chokeslam. And you can tell he's like struggling to do it. And Undertaker almost fucks it up. And man, I can't see. If you ever thought Jeff Jarrett deserved to hang with the main eventers, this match proves he's an embarrassment and he should have been banned from wrestling. This guy is a parasite that has just clung on to the companies for 25 years. And Kane Undertaker angle, fucking great. The crowd woke up. Jeff Jarrett, an embarrassment. What did you think?
I would. I think you were very, very hard on him. I
I'm
don't
not
think
hard enough.
he. I don't think
I would,
he.
I'm not lying to you, Kyle. I would have fired him if I was Vince. I would have been like, "You're fired. You know, don't come back. Go to WCW and fucking pretend
Go
you're a pro.
right back and go back to the Mongo feud.
You're gone.
Oh my
You're
God.
not worth anything."
It was it first of the music, and the look, like I said before, he just doesn't look like he belongs in that gear. I know they're trying to go with whatever traditional NWA thing they were doing, even though that has nothing to do with it. He looked more like an Aztec guy. Um, did they ever make a figure of that when he came back? I don't know. The retirement angle, I will give Tony Khan and them this. It was so critically panned that they dropped it immediately.
I just
Like,
why do you think that was a good? This
I
why
don't
do you
know.
think that was a good idea?
I don't know. But outside of that, no, the Kane Undertaker stuff was hot, and they went and when they did it with Dominic, it did work. Because I remember,
Yeah.
I don't really get invested if I'm watching at home. I'm not like a get 'em when I'm watching at home. Rey Mysterio, who was somebody who I did not like for a very long time because I was a Psychosis fan, him hitting Dominic, I remember being like, "Yeah, don't you tell your mother to shut up." Like I like into the storyline. So like that stuff definitely does work, and it worked for Kane and Undertaker because I still remember that too when he finally agrees. He's like, "I'll walk to the fires of hell to face you, Kane." Awesome stuff. Jarrett getting up after the chokeslam makes no sense. Like maybe if Undertaker picked him up and then just chokes him out of rage, sure. But Jarrett being like, "I'm okay," like didn't really. It didn't gel, and it's
I
almost like
have
he
to
wasn't
think that
needed.
I have to think that he got yelled at backstage for not selling it. I mean, if he struggled to get up, it was like shit. I still got some left, Taker, and then Taker. That would have been. But him just popping back up and like I'm gonna do
Yeah.
it. It's just like so what? So Crush and Ahmed Johnson are basically bitches compared to this. More, I don't know. It's like it was
And
bad.
Mankind was gone too
Yeah,
for a while.
man. I mean, this guy's like, oh, you know, great. He doesn't know what he's doing.
I
He's
mean,
never.
there's all the other great WWE superstars, and then there's him, so that's why he's able to get right back up.
Ugh. All right, now we get. Now we get to the only reason to watch this show. It is The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Rock cuts a promo, and Farouk. You know, we haven't. We're not watching the show week to week, but last time we saw Farouk, you know, he's kind of like the boss, right? Farouk is just standing there not saying anything, and The Rock is cutting this promo, and I think Farouk, the look in Farouk's eyes is like, oh, this guy's he's already surpassed me. Like I think like in Farouk's real brain, you know, like oh shit, this guy's the guy. Like we have the guy. He's right
Mhm.
here. We have the guy. It's done. It's done. He's it. He's the thing. He walks to the ring. The crowd's getting Rocky sucks to the beat.
Yeah,
Uh,
I remember that.
yeah, nation domination. The way the Rock is walking, the way everyone. You got to give Kama and D'Lo. You know the thing about I don't like the Don Callis family or some of these other is that I don't think they add much. Half the time Wheeler Yuta is just standing there with a dumb look on his face. Kama and D'Lo add so much. The way it's like you're not just walking behind the Rock. You're part of the Rock. You are what's making the Rock work. And you know I would stay, you know, if I taught wrestling I'd be like study what Kama and D'Lo do in this match because they are just as over. They are like in their roles. They're perfect. So Austin comes out in a fucking pickup truck. The crowd is exploded. They're up. The crowd's up. They've survived all the bullshit. What follows is just gaga and bullshit. Austin, it's very clear that Austin has neck issues and they don't want to go full throttle. But The Rock fucking takes care of him. D'Lo, Kama, and Farouk take care of him. It's like an action scene. It's more an action scene than a match, but it fucking works. They need to bring some. Listen, if you give if you do like a 6 minute match like this at the Rumble, people are gonna be going nuts. Like this to me is like just as good as Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega because it's short, it's quick, it's to the point, the action's nonstop, but everyone's happy. The Rock hits Austin hits a stunner on the Rock, he pins him. It's already apparent to me that you had this is the future. These guys have it, man, and what a match! I had a great time with this. Everyone did a great job. The truck was such a nice touch. He's got the beers already in the car. It's all coming together, and I loved it. What did you think?
I like that this 6 minute match is the equivalent of Osprey Omega, which is like 50 minutes in your mind.
It is.
But so yeah, no, it was probably one of the highlights, if not the highlight of the show. Austin looked like a superstar. The truck, the backdrop onto the glass, real glass. No, I don't know if it's real glass. Stunner on the D'Lo Brown. Just everything was just done perfectly. Calling it an action scene is a great way to describe it because then him and The Rock they get into it, but they don't get into it that much because of like you said, Austin's injuries. And everything just goes smoothly. And you don't know now, but there is something special about these two, and we will see it for the next, unfortunately, only like 5 years of WWE between The Rock and Stone Cold. Like they get involved with each other, and when they do, it's intense, but it is not like how you would today, where you're like, okay, well now CM Punk and Drew McIntyre are fighting for a full year with each other, or Seth Rollins and CM Punk are fighting for 2 years now, like consistently. They were spread apart really well. When they got together, they got together, and then when they were apart, they were apart. There was actually a clip on the Vault. There's like a weird one of those British pay-per-views where it's like Austin versus Rikishi versus Triple H versus The Rock versus Kurt Angle, one of those matches. And Austin and The Rock get involved in 2000, and the crowd erupts because they haven't seen these two hit each other in almost like a year and a half. And that is something that is missing in not just WWE, but I think wrestling in general. Just
Yeah,
keeping these people apart. I know they're trying that. It seems like they're trying that again with Roman and Cody, but it's just not the same. It's not nostalgia talking. It's just not the same.
it's just
But
it's no, it's not the same. It's
yeah, but awesome
because
job at Rock and Austin.
I think because the roster's so thin that when these two guys walk out, you're like, it's not just that they're the best guys on the show. It's that this is life changing. What's going on here? And when you hold it in contrast to Goldust, in fucking gimp outfits and Mark Merrill having fake boxing, it's like, oh, this is. This if every match can be like this, oh my god, and
Yeah,
it's something special. It's really
I do
man.
also.
What were you say? I'm sorry.
No, I do think they do need something like that. Like I know you mentioned like after the Royal Rumble or something, they have a match like this. Because last year, I feel like this is not just drag on Triple H, but I feel like they just don't read the room. I remember they had the Women's Royal Rumble, and then they had like DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns, which on another day, awesome match. You can't go wrong with these guys. But like after the Rumble, like that crowd did not get invested in these guys. And like that's not helping anybody. And like, I think you need more of a match like that where it's gonna be kind of. I know you need a cool down, but like a fucking 20-minute cool down with DIY and the guns. Like, why not have a different match there? That's when you bring out Mr. Iguana or something. I don't know.
I think they only know one way to get people over now, which is give them long matches. And it's like, no, I don't know how you would do this with the Motor City Machine Guns, but a match like this would do more to get over the Motor City Machine Guns than having them go out there and have a 30-minute heatless banger. You know what the biggest mystery to me is? The biggest mystery to me, Mark Shelley was so good on the mic 20 years ago, and every time he talks, it's just like, how do you lose that?
They're
Like,
miscast, in my opinion. They're
yeah,
better heels. They've always
Yeah,
been better heels. Unfortunately, you have DIY doing their role already, so they're not going to be heels there unless you have like a foursome of like just kind of douches, which you could do.
yeah,
I think their presentation is bad. Like that music sucks. I don't like using that
yeah.
word for like
They
but
became to give them the old Motor City song.
yeah, just take it from TNA. That was perfect. And clearly Def Rebel does not they're not doing a good job with some of these songs. So like their music's not good. They don't get any screen time. And you're also same thing that you talk about Tony Khan doing. You're banking on the fans knowing this guy's lineages from 20 for almost 20 years now. And the WWE universe is like, who are these two old men? It's like when I'm watching as a kid and the Rock and Roll Express show up. And I'm like, I don't know who these two people who look like women are. I don't know them. It's disrespectful, but I'm a child. I don't know this. I didn't follow this. How
How
could I? I
dare
wasn't born. But like that's how a lot of people probably see the Guns, and it's not fair. They're one of the best tag teams ever. People do say they think in AEW they'd fare better. I don't think they would. They would just be on a random collision
and they'd be
of
on Ring of Honor tonight.
yeah, exactly. I think you would get good matches, but you're also getting good matches when they wrestle on WWE. But
I think that
I think they're cast wrong. I would move them personally to like a Raw or something, turn them heel, and reinvigorate that tag division because you have the Guns and the Raiders, or the Guns against AJ and Dragon Lee. Another heel team besides the New Day and the Creeds. I think it would be cool, but what do I know?
I think the deal they have is they're going to wrestle for a year or two, and then they're going to be promised jobs as coaches,
Oh, they're definitely being coached. Yeah, definitely.
and I think that they're fine with that. I think that they're just going to close up their career, and then work with Petey Williams putting matches together, which is fine. I think it's a good use of their time. I don't think AEW they would have got that. So
No, they would have had to go hard, and like I think some of these people don't want to go that hard anymore. Does Alex Shelley still have his like day job? 'Cause I remember he was really into the medical job that he had. So I don't
I
know if
think
that's another reason too.
WWE, I think he probably, I wouldn't be surprised if they do coaching while wrestling right now. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if Alex Shelley isn't in the meetings. I think he got a very, he's not giving up, he was not going to give up that job unless he had a great money offer, and he must have got.
Hmm.
So because you can't have that job and work WWE. He's been on SmackDown every week for like a year and a half, so he has to give it up that
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, you have to travel too, even if you're not getting booked, which is a little annoying, but I guess that's how
Yeah,
this is the point of the job.
so he had to give up that job. All right.
But yes, Rock Austin, awesome, quick to the point, and then there was to be continued. There was still so much more to go with those two. Then it comes back, which we'll talk about a year and in January.
Yeah. Oh no, we'll get more into them. Up next is the main event. Shawn Michaels cuts a really weird promo calling JR fat garbage, or what does he call him, like a fat pig, or
Fat tub of goo or something like that, right?
and by the way, seeing these guys right after Rock Austin, you're like, yeah, Shawn, you may be one of the greatest in the ring. You just don't have it like Rock and Austin. You just don't. It's just not. And same with Triple H, you guys just aren't good enough. You guys just aren't good enough. It was always Rock and Austin. Here we go. Shawn Michaels, Ken Shamrock, DX interferes all the time. Triple H is just always in the ring. I didn't really like this match. I thought this was actually the weakest Shawn Michaels match in a year or two, maybe, from doing this thing. Maybe like since 1995, since he fought Kama. Wasn't that good of a match. Then the ending angle was also very weird. I remember in my head Owen Hart showing up, the crowd going ballistic, and Jim Ross freaking out. Jim Ross doesn't really do fuck out. He doesn't really go nuts. He's just like, oh,
Mhm.
it's Owen Hart. He's back. And the crowd, they don't get a good shot of him. And then when they do, like, there's just a few people chanting Owen, and then he leaves. I think sometimes Montreal is a bigger deal to internet fans than to the people paying money to see the shows. And eventually it became this big event, But like, I think a month in, people didn't really care. And they're like, oh, Owen's here. Okay. Uh, I always thought like this was a bigger deal. It doesn't feel that big of a deal. Overall, I didn't really like the main event, and I was kind of shocked rewatching the Owen thing that it didn't hit as my memory said it did. What did you think of the whole thing?
Yeah, the only thing I think people, yeah, didn't know it was him. I think they just saw somebody attacking Shawn Michaels,
Yeah,
and then he left. Maybe in voiceovers they like kind of go crazier, like when we watched it again on like a Raw or the Superstars or something, like they redubbed it over, and that's what's in our memory. I don't remember per se.
Maybe, yeah.
I think the issue with Owen Hart was you already had Stone Cold Steve Austin, so to have two rebels like that just wasn't gonna happen, which is unfortunate for Owen, but especially two rebels who don't like each other, backstage. So like you're already doing this character, this like loose cannon character with Stone Cold Steve Austin, which is working successfully. And now Owen Hart is doing the same thing. So like, where is this gonna go? So I think that just didn't in the long run it didn't work out storyline wise. As for the match, Ken Shamrock, I think it just kind of hot shot it into that position. There was nobody else to put in that position. They don't have any other wrestlers, and Shamrock wasn't ready. He's only been in the WWF for only a few months, so they had to do what they had to do. But this is the last Shawn Michaels match before something goes horribly wrong in the next one. Like the last like healthy Shawn Michaels match we see for a long time.
Yeah. It is like his last singles healthy match, and it's not that good. Well, no, Undertaker. He's healthy. He gets hurt in the Undertaker.
Yes, he is healthy until something happens.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a good match though. The next month, but
Yeah.
yeah, all in all, I would say it's WWE in a transition, and they're very lucky that they had Rock and Austin. But a lot of the other stuff is just not working. People aren't there yet. All in all, I would say skip the show. What do you think?
Yeah, you don't really see it. I mean, go. I think the Vault just added if or will add The Rock versus Stone Cold, like either this week or it's already there. You can watch their first match. It's quick, it's to the point. It's fun. Like the spot with D'Lo is cool. I would watch that, and that's it. That's really all you need.
Yeah. All right, awesome. So let's go over the next 4 weeks. Next week, big one, baby. Starcade '97. I'm already gonna say that this show's probably gonna be better than DX. I know like people shit on that show, but this DX show is pretty bad. Hogan versus Sting. In 2 weeks, Royal Rumble '98. Shawn Michaels versus Taker. That's another big show. In 3 weeks, Sold Out '98. And that is Lex Luger versus Macho Man. Not so big of a show. And then in 4 weeks, we've entering a new era. And I don't know how long this era is going to go, but we're not stopping with the pay per views because we got No Way Out '98, DX, and Savio Vega take on Terry Funk, Cactus Jack, Owen Hart, and Steve Austin. What are you looking forward to?
Well, definitely Starcade. I don't remember much more of Starcade right now outside of the big Sting match. I'm sure there's some good cruiserweight action. Scott Hall fights Larry Sabisco on this one, right?
No, that's Eric Bischoff versus Elizabeth.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's there.
That's the first Omega Osprey, if you think about it.
Yes, for sure. But all right. Well, that match will be there too, and I'm still looking forward to it.
I've never seen the show all the way through. I'm looking forward to breaking it all down. I am. It's really this is really the turning point for WCW more so than
Yeah.
anything, and it'll be interesting to watch. All right, Kyle, do you have anything to plug?
By the time this is out, no, January 3rd is the next character select comedy, 6 p.m. at the stand. Yeah, this we're doing well. We'll have a good show. We're pretty much sold out of our show in December, so please come hang out with us in January. Kick off the new year.
Yeah, come on out. And guys, if you like the podcast, please subscribe, leave us a comment, leave us a review. Yeah, thank you so much. All right, that's the podcast, and we will see you next week for Starcade '97, where we're done with the year 1997. We'll see you then.